What's up, guys? Back for another Honkai Star Rail video. In this video, we are going to talk about Phainon and first impressions, right? Now, this is actually my second time recording this because I recorded it, thought about it, and I wanted to test a few more things and kind of got a few more answers to it. So I'm going to be a bit even more late uploading this just because I felt like this one will be a better video to talk about, right? Now, first things first, right? Phainon is a excellent unit. I've been seeing a lot of people saying, broken as hell, power creep. I've seen people talk about it. Oh, he's crap. I think Phainon is a very good unit, but he definitely has some issues that could be a bit annoying going into the future, right? So yeah, as always, like the video, comment below what you think of Phainon, what are his issues, what do you like about him, and let's get on with the video. So first things first, I will say, through testing him in a few modes, I feel like Apocalyptic Shadow might just be his best mode just for the physical weakness implant and Ruan Mei being able to work with him, right? It's so good. It's so good. Not saying he sucks in MOC. I have seen that Hule is so much easier to rip through than the bug. The bug always takes me a bit longer than Hule, right? It does help that Hule attacks so much that he just generates so much core flames for you, which is so nice, especially when you get out of your first ult, because a lot of people are saying that you want to kill in the first ult. I have not seen that many people be able to do it with like a normal like E0 S1 no dupe support. Like if you have dupes in your support, you probably can pull it off, but I haven't seen that many people be able to do one ult and just like rip through it, right? Unless they like hold on to it and like are able to kill the first little batch of enemies, right? But me, I haven't been able to kill a single thing in one ult, right? That's just how mine is, right? Now, my Phainon, right? I have tested him with no speed boots and speed boots, right? Just to see how it goes, right? Both have its issues. I feel like if you're running speed boots, you're probably going to be running Bronya Sunday, right? If you're not running speed boots, you're probably running some other team, right? I feel like he works with both just depending on what you're using. Obviously, attack boots are going to do a lot more, right? Um, Another thing to talk about is Phainon actually has like an absurd amount of supports, right? RMC works well with him, actually advance and true damage. Sunday is probably going to be his number one best partner at the moment. Ultimate helps him out with core flame stacks and gives him crit rate, skill, all that stuff is just absolutely absurd, right? Bronya is extremely good. Robin is also really good. Action advance for the team, which will generate you even more core flames. Robin's ult and damage up will work because Phainon just takes all the buffs and then he has it forever, right? Tribute can work as well. The field works. All her buffs work. Obviously, she's not going to be doing a follow-up attack because it's just Phainon in the ult, but Tribute can work. Tingyan also works. Cypher even works, right? So, thing with Cypher, right, is a lot of people are going to be like, okay, why would you run Cypher? Because Cypher can't ult while you're in the ultimate field. That's the thing. Cypher's damage dealt still works while Phainon is in the ult. Then, when you end the ult, you can ult with Cypher because all the damage you accumulated in Phainon's ult is still there in Cypher. It's not like she doesn't get it because she's not there. And then you can ult and then clear it there. Now, my Cypher is E1, right? So I get a bit more stacking than people who have E0. But what I did for a clear on the bug, right, which I believe was my 2 cycle, if I'm not mistaken, right, was I ulted with Phainon, got in there, untransformed, right, and then I ulted with Cypher, and I think I was just shy of the kill. I had to transform again to do like one meteor to kill him, right? But it did work. It did work out, right? So Cypher does work, but if you're going for the one ult kill, I wouldn't bring Cypher. Then she kind of just runs out of usefulness. Then for the one sustain, I don't think you should run a sustain for Phainon at the moment unless yours isn't built as good and your supports aren't as built out. Woho is the best one because energy, you can target energy from the ultimate and you can target with her skill, giving Phainon a core flame stack from both, plus an attack buff, more attack, more damage. Pretty simple, right? So overall, Phainon can just use a ton of supports. But the best ones are going to be RMC, Bronya, and Sunday because it gives him an action advance to be able to skill to get more core flame stacks, right? Now, do note that once you get out of the first ult, I've noticed that there are times where I've been low on skill points, right? Especially if you're running like, I don't think you should run these three all together because you'd have like no skill points whatsoever. But if you do run Sunday Bronya and you don't have Sunday's signature, or you don't have a second Bronya light cone for Bronya, whatever it may be, or you don't have E2, skill points can be an issue, right? Most of the time, I've been able to get into the second ult without it being an issue, but there was a run or two where Bronya just decided she didn't want to do anything. I was running low speed Phainon with high speed, doing the -1 strat. Didn't really run into as many skill points, but the other version did, unfortunately, right? So just keep that in mind when you're running them, that you definitely want to be able to buff with your action advancer and then go into using a Phainon skill. If you have to basic attack, just basic attack. Don't sacrifice your action advancer. Another thing is buff timing. Now I've definitely fucked this up a couple times, right? But make sure you are having all your buffs. I've definitely ulted on a second ult and not had Bronya buff, and the damage is like actually insanely different. Not having Bronya's buffs or any of your character's buffs on Phainon when he transforms will absolutely slaughter your damage. You will straight up do like almost half the damage done. I think I hit a 1.6 million on one of the Hule runs, and then he summoned his his dudes, and then I didn't have Bronya buff, and I think I only hit for like 800k, and I was like, damn, that's crazy. That's a big drop off. It's like 60. It's like 60 something% damage, and then obviously like the crit damage and ult stuff ran out, right? So make sure you have your buffs. You will lose out on so much damage, right? Just there's so many buffs going into Phainon. It is easy to forget. You see that core form, you click it, but I'm telling you, just make sure, just double check before you click it. If you have to wait, even if you have to lose a cycle, bro, Phainon should easily be able to clear within 5 cycles and then get 3,300 points in APOC. Get, what was it? Is it 200k? No, it's 300k. Whatever half of purification score, you should easily be able to get all of that in every single endgame mode. So don't stress too much about ulting right away. Make sure you ult when you have your buffs, because it will go a lot faster, right? Now, I don't know if I'll do it now, but if you guys want, I will make a tier list on the best supports to use for Phainon, right? I do a bit more testing for some of them, because I do think that Sunday and Bronya are like 1 and 2. But going down the list, I definitely would have to test a bit more to get a feel. The ones I like the most, though, are actually Robin, and Robin's just so good. The action advance of the whole team is so nice. You can even hold on to Robin ult, right? To when you get out of Phainon ult to immediately bring Robin up and then cycle it again and then go from there. Especially if you find your units are a bit more squishy, that could be a good option for you to not actually get hit, right? Because there's going to be runs where you just, unfortunately, I had a couple runs where Sunday just could not hang, bro. My Sunday is not nearly as tanky because I have a lot of crit damage rolls, and bro would just get targeted, just bop, 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 and then he goes down, and then what can you do at that point? You got to restart. But that's just how it is with sustainless teams. Getting a refresh in or two just to have a way better clear than using a sustain is definitely optimal. Trust me, MOC is like 2 weeks long. I'm sure you can find the time to do it, right? So overall, my overall impressions of Phainon are very, very good unit. Has a few issues. When we get to a point where Phainon's gonna wish he had help in his ultimate, that's when it's gonna be a bit iffy. We can definitely have a support going forward that could maybe activate, like, how in the weekly boss fights we have a little buff corner on the right. Maybe in the future we could have a character that has something like that, kind of like some like Dokkan active skill type beat, right? Or maybe we have a support that their support buffs will trigger in his ultimate and then go from there, kind of like how Robin's additional damage works in his ultimate. Maybe something like that, which will give him, like an extra attack or whatnot, right? Just depends on how they go. I'm just saying Saridra is coming out. She's a Harmony character. I would not be surprised if it's going to be like an Acheron situation where Acheron a few patches later got Jiaoqiu and then she was cooking, right? We'll have to wait and see, though, right? But overall, Phainon, great character. 100% think that if you want to summon, you can. But do note that not having Sunday is going to suck. There is free teams, Tingyun, RMC, and Bronya. Bronya's kind of technically free, because you probably would pick her from the 300. If you don't have her, it is a bit rough. I guess then you'd have to go for Sunday, right? But he has good free-to-play options, and you have the free-to-play Herta Lightcon that you can also use, right? So he definitely is a free-to-play friendly character, right? And I've seen people get 0 cycles with him on Hule with that free-to-play team, right? Granted, they had a pretty good stack of relics, but, you know, that's just on a account-to-account basis. So that's pretty much my consensus at the end of the day. Plus, another character you can also use is Rowan, right? For Toxic Shadow, she is very good because Phainon implants physical weakness, right? So, like I said, you could really just run any support with him. That's how universally good he is. Just make sure you have his buffs up at the right time. And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to do a bit more testing throughout the week while I get my other videos out. I'm going to try to double upload, right? I've been a bit busy. I don't think I mentioned this video, but I was going to have this up yesterday, but I had to get ready for work. It took a bit longer than I thought. Got home. People were lighting off fireworks because it was the 3rd. I know it's weird, 3rd of July, people lighting fireworks. I have a lot of animals, so there was a lot of barking. Had to check on the cats. One of our cats did escape, unfortunately, and we haven't found him yet, so that is a bit unfortunate. Probably going to have to go look for him after I record this. So I'm going to try to bust that out before I start my 3rd job. Once that starts, then videos are going to be, if you don't see me upload for a day or two, just know I just straight up didn't have enough time. But anyway, that's enough about me. Let me know what you think about Phainon in the comments below. Is he exceeding your expectations? Is it below? Let me know. And of course, I will catch y'all in the next one. Thanks for watching.